All right, guys, welcome back to the Power Six podcast. We have a special edition coming to you this week. We have the Rose and Max show. None of the other boys could make it tonight, so just gonna be Max and I discussing some Nebraska football, going over highlights of games, and in exciting news, Brad, Max, Matt Kingston, one of our guest pickers earlier in the season, and I are going to Madison, Wisconsin this weekend. Tickets are dirt cheap. You can still get them and come sit with us on the 50-yard line. Besides Headley. Headley's not invited. With that being said, what do we got, Max?
Some immediate shade being thrown at Headley, and I know the boys are listening to this pod because they couldn't join. So at work right now, whatever you guys are doing, shout out. We're gonna have a good pod here with just Isaiah and I. We're gonna get through a lot of content, Nebraska game, and yeah, Madison, Wisconsin. Which obviously we're gonna preview that game. We're gonna be there. Super pumped. We leave in less than 48 hours now, so super excited for that. But we'll get into this last week's game, which was a hugely disappointing result. Nebraska losing to Maryland 13-10. All three quarterbacks played. I shouldn't say all three. There's more than three on the roster, obviously, but all three that are, in the mix played. All three threw at least one interception. Jeff Sims threw two. It was
had a fumble.
And had a fumble, yes, for a total of 5 turnovers. Every turnover this game was committed by a quarterback, and 22 or 23 of the 27 Nebraska turnovers on the year have been by the quarterback. It's a serious issue, and it was what plagued Nebraska this game because obviously the third and goal was a ridiculous pass play that with Chuba Purdy, and it's not Purdy's fault. It's not Malachi Coleman's fault or Billy Kemp. It was a ridiculous pass play. You got to kick the field goal. I was furious after that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I completely agree. We talked about it last night. 23 out of those 27 turnovers are from our quarterbacks. I think the other 3 of them are from AG and the other one's from Emmett Johnson. That's that the ball security has been a problem all year, and obviously nothing's changed. I agree that pass play we drew up on that third and goal for Chuba Purdy. It should have been a run, get the points. We already lost a game this year by a game-winning field goal, and it happened again. Same exact score. I'm not exactly sure what's going through Scatterfield's brain. I'm calling him Scatterfield for the rest of the year if he keeps putting offense like this. Run the ball. Even if they load up the box, I think we have a better chance of getting a yard or two, especially on third and goal when we're on the 4-yard line, and make it closer for Tristan Alvano because I don't think he's going to miss a kick like that. But just run the ball. It's a smart play. It worked for us the entire game. Chuba Purdy, even though he's not completely healthy, he looked pretty good. He could run. That one scramble where I thought he was getting sacked for like 10 yards and then he gets a 12-yard gain. That was awesome. Yeah, Jeff Sims, man. What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah, he is a turnover machine like I have never seen before in college football. I mean, it is. It's incredible. I don't understand it. He comes in for like 5 drives and he has 3 turnovers. He can't see I don't know. It's just I don't even know what to say anymore. It's bad.
No, he can't read the defense at all.
No.
And that his fumble, like we've been talking about it all year. 2 hands on the ball when you're running, and he's just running out there freely. And of course, the guy's just going to come in there and punch it. It's such an easy play for a defensive player to make, especially as a D1 athlete. We just got to be smarter with, controlling the ball. We had more time of possession in this game. The defense really stood up to Maryland's offense. Besides that one drive where they scored a touchdown in 3 plays or something. Like besides that, the defense played very good. I know passing is our weakness, and Talia kind of exploited that a little bit, but the run defense is insane. Max, you probably know where we're at in the country, probably still top 5 on the run defensive side.
In run defense, I think.
Yeah. So our run defense, there's no problem. Pass defense, there's a little room for error, but still, the defense is getting things done, and our offense is just not doing it for us.
Yeah, and Yeah, it's just the defense has to carry this team so hard. I mean, the turnovers, and then they were able to get the ball back down inside our own 5-yard line when they stripped the ball from Maryland. Um, the defense is just having to take way too much of the load. The special teams was fine this game. It was just the turnovers. The quarterback, like 5 turnovers, and that play at the end. I get going for the win, but if you have guys that can do that, because it's so hypocritical in my opinion of Matt Rule, because he said that this is a defensive team. We need to let the defense win the game for us, and then he tries to go and win the game with the offense, and not only the offense, it was a pass play with a quarterback who has like 5 career pass attempts, and Malachi Coleman, a true freshman, has to make a big time play, keeping the DB on him because the route wasn't for Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand. I think it's a horrible play call. Kick the field goal, and your defense now has the momentum, and I think they get that stop, and I think Nebraska wins the game. If you just kick the field goal, you take the point because there's 2 minutes to go, and you're up by 3. I like our defense in that spot. It's just another turnover puts them on their heels. It was so stupid. And Headley and I were joking before that play too about, let's throw the ball. And they did it. It was just ridiculous. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's just being greedy in that situation. We got to take the points when we can get them, even if it's a field goal. I mean, that was the difference in this game. We kicked a field goal, say Maryland goes down and gets a field goal. At least we're still playing and we're in overtime and have another chance. Yeah. When you do something like that, you turn the ball over. I knew we were losing at that point. I knew they were getting at least a field goal.
Because it's way harder to drive, 85 yards and get a touchdown than it is, 70 yards to just get a field goal. Mm-hmm. And that's what Maryland did. That's all they had to do. And if we kick the field goal, they got to – and then once they get into field goal range, they probably play a lot more conservative if they even get there. And so we're still alive. I just don't – it just was horrible. Emmett Johnson, though, had another good game, 17 carries, 84 yards, 5 yards a carry. 5 yards a carry. Emmett Johnson, in every game he's played, I think has averaged over 5 yards a carry.
He has. So, there's a lot of promise for Emmett Johnson at Nebraska.
I would agree. I hope he is the clear RB1 in Wisconsin. Feed him the ball. Our run blocking, I saw a stat the other day that we're 7th in the country in yards before contact, rushing the ball. Which means our offensive line is run blocking really well. And Emmett Johnson's been running the ball really well. So keep running it. That's working well.
Yeah, I know they're trying to probably instill some confidence in their quarterbacks by having those pass plays, but you got to give it to the guys that are performing. Emmett Johnson is a dog. He just give him the ball. You have Emmett Johnson and AG. AG's a workhorse. He just turns it over sometimes. But we have those 2 guys run the ball and then throw in, the occasional play action to Fedoni or something and Billy Kemp. And
that's honestly kind of tough on AG because, what does he have, 3 fumbles on the year? That's like nothing in compared to, what the quarterbacks are doing.
Yeah.
And it's smart. I don't know.
Jeff Sims has got to have at least half of our turnovers.
Yeah. And he's barely even played. It's actually ridiculous. And then Harburg looked shaky again. He was overthrowing guys, had the pick, and he's a little banged up. They said he has a high ankle sprain, but he's kind of day to day. I honestly hope we see Purdy start in Madison.
Honestly, I would not be disappointed about that at all. Purdy looks pretty good. I don't think he could play the full game, but say he plays
Jeff
a half.
Sims,
I hope we don't see Jeff Sims.
I think we will see at least 2 quarterbacks play for Nebraska.
I agree. Yep. So, I think we'll see at least 2 of them. And then I think Harburg, I don't remember what game it was, but he took a pretty good shot in the ribs. I think he's still kind of afraid of that happening again.
It was that Purdue game he took a big hit.
Yeah. Yep. I think he's a little nervous taking another big hit like that, so he's kind of looks like he's a little bit happy feet when he's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. We only had 1 penalty in that whole game. We had 0 penalties at Michigan State, so we now have 1 penalty in our last 2 games. 8 quarters of play. That's really good. That's how you should be able to win games.
Yeah. I think Maryland had 10 penalties in this game. we have really fixed the procedural penalties.
Yeah.
But that hasn't been a problem like the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I agree.
I think only penalty in the Maryland game was a pass interference, which sucked because I think it was a third down drive.
Oh, yeah, is that one at the end?
Yep.
And there's that third down. Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, because that could have been a difference maker too. They could have had to go for it on fourth down. They don't get it. We get another chance to go for a field goal. I mean, it's all hypotheticals, but still.
Yeah. I really do like our chances to win that game if we just kick that field goal. I think it's so much easier on the defense too. I think they go out there and fly around instead. They have all the pressure of the game on them. Some good news. Cool. I was just saying, Quentin Newsom will be back for the Wisconsin game, so that'll be big.
That is huge. I was gonna say, we kick that field goal, it puts a lot of more pressure on Maryland's offense to get down the field and score, and they could have made a mistake. And, we just kneel at that point. But that's the difference. Those 3 points, that's all it was. And we got greedy, and it happens. And let's not do it again this week in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, seriously. Well, probably all that needs to be said about that game. We've talked about it plenty besides on the pod, but yeah. So we'll get into results of the weekend. We'll start with Michigan in a somewhat dominant win, 24-15 over Penn State. Penn State got a late score to bring it within the 9 points there. And Michigan just ran the damn ball. They didn't. What is it? They didn't have a pass after like 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Yeah. JJ McCarthy threw 8 passes the entire game.
He's 7 of 8.
Marcus Scatterfield, take some notes.
Yeah,
seriously. We don't have a Blake Corum or a Donovan Edwards.
I would say Blake Corum ran for 145, 5.6 a carry, and Edwards was 5.2 a carry.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have guys like that, but we're not playing teams that are Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. We could easily do that with AG and Emmett Johnson against, Maryland. We got Wisconsin, Iowa. I think we could still do that. I think we can do that with our competition that we play.
Yeah, I would like to see that. But Michigan looked really good. They look like the top team, 2 or 3 teams in the country, and this is the first test that they had, and they passed. So
yeah, they passed with flying colors. Penn State just, I don't know. They set a stat for James Franklin. He's like 5-17 against top 5 opponents at Penn State, which is tough because every year, most of the time, Michigan and Ohio State are a top 5 team, especially in the past 3 or 4 years. So he's got to, once he gets over that hump, though, I think Penn State's going to start rolling.
Yeah, the problem is that hump has been the hump for like 8 years now. So I think people are.
Well, Harbaugh had the same problem, though. And once he got over it, look at Michigan now.
No, I agree. I agree. I think it's a little bit apples to oranges because I think Michigan was still rolling a little bit better than like Penn State is. Because Michigan, Harbaugh's been beating James Franklin and Penn State, even when Michigan wasn't quite to what they are now. Yep. So, but I do agree with you, and I would say to Penn State fans to be careful what you wish for, because going 10-2 every year, it could get a lot worse. And bringing in the new conference, they'll be missing Ohio State and Michigan some years, both. They'll be missing both of them, and things could be looking a lot better.
Yep.
So again, just be careful what you wish for. It could get a lot worse than 10 wins a year.
We know. We used to go 9-3.
And people were saying that about Harbaugh too a few years ago. Like people were getting on him, fire him. Those things were coming out, and I said the same thing back then. I was like, man, you just gotta. One of these days it clicks. And even if it doesn't click, it still kind of is clicking because you're winning 10 games a year. So I don't know. It's tough, but.
Remember the first time Harbaugh beat Ryan Day? They wanted to get rid of Ryan Day.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Obviously that wasn't going to happen, but the fact that Ohio State fans are going to act that way was ridiculous.
There was some. I would say those the vast minority, the loud minority is the better way to put it.
Yeah.
but still, yeah, it's pretty crazy expectations out there.
Completely agree.
Georgia dominated Ole Miss. That was a huge win for the Bulldogs, and they look like Georgia again.
Like I said in the group chat, Georgia is a different beast, man. Their offense is clicking. They're humming. Their defense is flying around. The first quarter of that game, I think it was 21-14. I'm like, wow, this is going to be a game. And then Ole Miss did Ole Miss things. They just didn't perform. I said last week it's not Ole Miss's year to beat Georgia, and it happened. I knew. I've been watching. But the Ole Miss, give him credit. Their running back, Judkins. I don't remember his first name.
Quinshon Judkins, yeah.
Yes, he looks really good. Jackson Dart is a great quarterback. It's just tough when you take on a beast like Georgia. You know, back-to-back natties, 27 games won in a row. Until they get beat, they're just going to be a different beast. They really are. They have all the confidence in the world to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I know we're a far ways from it, but a Michigan-Georgia matchup would be
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it seems like the two best teams, and I know that this other team has one loss, but I think it's if they didn't have that one loss, I think they'd be a clear number 3 team, and that's Oregon. I think they're right up there. Their line play looks super good. Yeah, I'm excited to see Georgia face one of these like top 5, 6, 7 teams. Obviously, they're going to play Alabama in the SEC championship. Alabama and Georgia have both clinched their divisions in the SEC, so we will see that.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good.
Yeah, they really haven't played anybody till Ole Miss. And Ole Miss just
and Mizzou. They played Mizzou. They won by 9, which
That's
actually
true.
looks really good for Mizzou now.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Mizzou is cooking.
Yeah, they are. They just beat Tennessee. What was it, 36-7?
Yeah, it was a blowout.
Yeah. So Mizzou's legit.
Mizzou is legit. Go back a couple weeks where Max said, I don't know if they're the number 12 team in the country.
They're the number 12 team in the country.
They are.
Maybe slightly better, but I think they're right at number 12.
Yeah. Are they still ranked 12?
I
have not looked.
Mizzou's 9.
I was gonna say I thought they were a top 10 team now.
Yeah, they're 9th now. Okay, well, SEC bias, whatever.
I wouldn't go that far. SEC bias, but yes, I think Mizzou is a very good team.
Let's see what else happened, because we'll get into some Big Ten talk. FSU beat Miami, rivalry win right there.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona.
Yep.
Over.
Beat Colorado with the game-winning field goal.
Washington picks up the ranked win. They kind of needed that after that. They hadn't had any big results since that Oregon win, and so that was a good win.
That was a
35-28 win.
Utah was up right away in that game, and I was like, wow, they are performing. Washington squeaks away at the end.
Their second half defense was, I think they allowed 0 points in the second half or something.
What was the final score for that?
35-28. I think Utah had 28 at half. I
saw
where like Utah had 300 yards in the first half, and then they had 90 yards in the second half. So Utah or Washington's defense really.
I want to talk about UCF. Dominated Oklahoma State.
That came out of nowhere. I mean, I thought Oklahoma State was maybe like the hottest team in the country.
Yeah.
And yeah,
they got fucking smoked.
Yeah.
Because where are they at? They're in the rankings now. I don't even see them.
Oklahoma State, they're down to 23 in the college football playoff rankings.
Oh wow. Yeah, they
dropped 8.
Dropped 8 there. Wow, yeah, that's insane. I did not see that coming. UCF hadn't been playing great all year, so there's always that one team that's got to take somebody down, and they sure did it.
Yeah.
In the Space U uniforms too.
Yeah.
Those were pretty cool.
UNC beat rival Duke in double overtime. I heard or saw that has like game of the year candidate written all over it, which I mean 2-point win in double overtime certainly could be. I didn't get to watch any of it. I'll have to watch the highlights though.
I didn't watch any of that game. Great basketball game.
Great, and then 47. That's just a low-scoring basketball game. Is all that is.
Yeah, that's all it was. They went to double overtime as well.
Oregon beat USC 36-27. Honestly, I mean, I think Oregon was a little bit more in control of that game. That score kind of shows, but nonetheless, Utah, USC they're still a good team. Obviously, Caleb Williams in that offense, so it's a good win for Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, if that USC offense gets cooking with Caleb Williams, they could still beat, top 10 teams, I think. Yeah, I mean, Oregon is they're kind of on a roll. I think they're trying to fight back after that loss to Washington. Washington, they kind of haven't performed since then. So I think Oregon is by far the best 9-1 team in the country right now.
Yeah, they're the best one-loss team. I would agree with that. ASU had a surprising upset win over UCLA, 17-7. Also, Texas beating TCU 29-26. I think Texas had like a couple touchdown lead at one point in that game, and then it ended up being a three-point game. So
yeah, I think they did have a little bit of a lead, and then I just kind of saw highlights while I was watching other games. They'd pull them up, and TCU was reeling them in there.
Yeah. And then we'll turn to the Big Ten, particularly the Big Ten West. Illinois beat Indiana in overtime 48-45. Not a Big Ten score right there.
No. There was not a lot. There wasn't a ton of Big Ten scores. There's some high scoring games in the West.
Then we had Iowa beating Rutgers 22-0, the shutout. That Iowa defense, again, is as legit as it gets. And then the offense, 402 total yards of offense for Iowa.
That's insane.
Deacon Hill was slanging it.
What's his QBR? Did you see what it was?
What is the QBR? Deacon Hill 58.2. Yeah, that
might be a new school record.
That is monstrous for an Iowa quarterback right there.
Wow,
you're definitely if you can get 1.9 or above, you're good. You're sitting pretty good for an Iowa win. So 58.2.
I mean, Iowa could have won the Natty in that game.
Yeah, that actually, yeah.
If they played Georgia,
Iowa would have beaten Georgia.
Yeah, 100%. Same score.
They held Rutgers to 34 rush yards and 93 pass yards. So just, again, an overall dominant performance right there.
I thought the Rutgers offense was better than that. Gavin Wimsatt as quarterback, he's been slinging it. They couldn't do anything against that Iowa D.
Oh.
Speaking of Iowa, Cooper DeJean.
Potentially, nothing's been confirmed yet, but probably out for the season.
Yeah, that's a huge development.
Yes, it
for
is.
Iowa. He people don't want to throw even near him. And now, teams that play them are going to have a little bit more of a luxury. Nebraska will still probably throw interceptions even with him not there, but
when the punt,
that's huge.
The return game too.
Yeah,
was a huge
that is
part
huge.
Of their offense and scoring and
Did
field
you
position.
See in this game, he caught a punt and there was 5 Rutgers guys around him. He didn't fair catch it.
I remember seeing that. I thought he was crazy.
I was like, this guy has some fucking nuts, man. He has some nuts.
Purdue beat Minnesota 49-30. That result surprised me big time. I couldn't believe it. 49-30. Which, by the way, that is actually huge for Nebraska in the Big Ten West race, because now, expecting Ohio State to beat Minnesota, Nebraska's their chances look a lot better if they want to win the West. There's a couple scenarios that we'll get into, but yeah, that was big.
Yeah, that's like a Big 12 score almost. 49-30.
Yeah, crazy.
That's insane. And the first half of that game, they were just going back and forth scoring. There was like no defense.
That is crazy
from what I saw. And then the second half turned on, and Hudson Card, he must be good.
He's all right.
He's all right when there's not a team with an N on their helmet playing him.
Yeah, that's facts. And then last but not least, Northwestern beat Wisconsin 24-10. It was really 24-3. Wisconsin got a touchdown with 17 seconds to go to put 10 on the board. Dominant performance by Northwestern. I mean, just shutting down the Wisconsin offense that we know is handicapped right now. Braylon Allen had 2 rushes, I believe, because he's still day-to-day. I think they said it'll be a game-time decision for Nebraska. Mordecai Sosa's broken hand. We know Ches Malusi's out for the year. And I believe Wisconsin's leading wide receiver is still out for the season, or at least for now. Big win for Northwestern. And a bad loss for Wisconsin. The Wisconsin media and fan base is like, freaking out right now, besides the ones that, if they're not doing good, just don't care anyway, which is Wisconsin has a very fair weather fan base. But otherwise, they're in like a dire find your identity situation right now.
Yeah, that's kind of an ass kicking for the Big Ten West to get beat by 14 points there. And like you said, they got a trash touchdown there at the end. Seems to be what the Big Ten West likes to do, is get those late touchdowns to make it look a little bit better. But yeah, dominant win for the Wildcats there with the interim head coach.
Yeah. And I just saw today that there a report that Northwestern is likely to hire David Braun as the full-time head coach. So, which, I mean, they're 5-5 right now. I mean, could very easily make a bowl game, which would just be insane. I thought they would win like 1 game this year.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. Yeah, ever since Illinois and Purdue, since they both lost to Nebraska, have kind of turned it up a notch.
Yeah. Yep.
So
it's very true. And Northwestern. Illinois, Purdue, and Northwestern.
Yeah, and Northwestern, yep.
In Wisconsin's last 2 games now, they lost to Indiana and Northwestern. So they are reeling. I mean, that's not a Wisconsin football program doesn't lose to Indiana and Northwestern. So that's interesting. We're getting another team while they're down. We had Michigan State with a 6-game losing streak. We had Maryland with a 4-game losing streak. Now we have Wisconsin coming in with a 2-game losing streak. I guess you call it a streak, but they lost to 2 of the lesser teams in the Big Ten. Yeah. So with that, there is a couple scenarios for winning the Big Ten West. The simplest scenarios by far and away revolve around Nebraska and Iowa. It's kind of a 2-horse race. Now there is a way still for each of the teams each have a scenario where they can win it. If Iowa wins any more games, they win the West. They just have to win one of their last 2, or obviously both, at least one of their last 2, and they clinch the West. For Nebraska, they will go to the Big Ten Championship if Illinois beats Iowa this weekend. Illinois has to beat Iowa. Nebraska has to beat Wisconsin. And then we get what we've always been waiting for. It comes down to Black Friday, Corn Bowl, Nebraska versus Iowa. Winner goes to the Big Ten Championship. That's all that's left. Nebraska has to beat Wisconsin. Iowa has to lose to Illinois this weekend. If that happens, we get Black Friday for the Big Ten West Division. Now, there's a whole bunch of other scenarios where Minnesota could win it, or Northwestern, or Illinois, or even Purdue, I think, has like a super outside shot if everything goes right. But there's like a ton of steps that go into those. Mm-hmm. It's Iowa and Nebraska have the 2 simplest scenarios. That's really what it comes down to. So, as a Husker fan, go Illinois, go Big Red, and then we get our Black Friday like we've always wanted in the last year's Big Ten West.
That would be electric. We've been wanting this forever.
Yeah.
And if we get it in the last year of the West, awesome. Like you said, go Illinois. We make fun of Brett Bielema way too much. He's like, nah, fuck these guys, fuck the Huskers. Let's just lose to Iowa, and then they clinch.
Go Bert, man. Go Bert.
Go Bert. But no, that got me excited.
Yeah.
I think we have a very good shot of beating Wisconsin this weekend. And Iowa, without Cooper DeJean, you saw what happened last year.
And Illinois is kind of on the come up right now, Yeah. Their offense is playing a lot better.
Yeah, their quarterback, what's his name?
Well, they're just getting their other starter back this weekend, actually. Altmaier, I believe, right? Altmaier?
Yep.
I can't remember his first name.
Luke
Altmaier, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's 12. But their backup's been slinging it. You saw in the Indiana game.
Yeah.
That guy was slanging that thing. And it was all over media. I was seeing it at the gym. They were talking about him. I can't remember his name. He's like 4th generation Illinois quarterback or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So good for that guy. But yeah, that's a dude. The stars could align. They could align.
We just need those two results. And the kicker is that Minnesota, because they have the tiebreaker over both Iowa and Nebraska.
Mhm.
So Minnesota does need to lose at least one more game as well. But they play Ohio State this weekend, so I'm kind of just banking on that being the case. And so when Ohio State beats Minnesota, it comes down to Nebraska beating Wisconsin, Illinois beating Iowa, and then we get, obviously Black Friday. So
That would be insane.
it would be awesome. I want it so bad.
No. If the Golden Goofoo beat the Buckeyes,
Oh, yeah, that would be insane.
that would be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
PJ Fleck would be doing PJ Fleck things.
Oh man, I mean, he would be insufferable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, moving on from the weekend of results, and obviously we'll get into more preview of the Big Ten West action this weekend, other college football action this weekend, and of course Nebraska versus Wisconsin preview will be coming up in a little bit on the pod. But first, we got to get it in. Jim Harbaugh suspended for the regular season. He was not on the sidelines at Penn State. This Friday is the hearing for the restraining order, which I don't know. I feel like it's going to be granted because the judge is a Michigan alum. And I think if they get that granted, I think he can be on the sidelines. I don't know how it all works. He's suspended for the regular season. They're trying to veto it through this way. That's his punishment for now. I would suspect if the investigation keeps going and more stuff is found, there will be more punishment. But as of right now, that's where it stands.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but after the Michigan Penn State game, the interim head coach was bawling.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually.
It was very weird.
Harbaugh's trying to make them out to be like the underdog right now, and then he just called them America's team in their latest press conference. He's like, "This is America's team. America should be rooting for a team like this." I'm like, Michigan's going full like weird, like Dabo Sweeney, just weird.
Yeah, throw Jim Harbaugh on the weird coach award.
About to.
Yeah, I think he should. Actually, we should throw the interim head coach for crying after the game, and like.
It sounded like Jim Harbaugh was dead. If you were just listening to the interview.
It literally did. It sounded like he was dead.
Yeah, that was odd.
In that interview too, Blake Corum must have he had blood on his face. I don't know if you saw that, right on the bridge.
He had 26 carries.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that guy put in some work today, and this guy's crying. I don't know what that's all about, but
yeah, it was interesting. Michigan, they're just weird right now.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And then other big news, never thought I'd see the day. Texas A&M fires Jimbo Fisher for a $76 million buyout. Remember a few years ago he signed that massive 10-year, $100 million contract, and they're not even going to get remotely through it. $76 million buyout, largest by a gigantic margin in college football history.
That's
crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said yesterday, they got a lot of oil money, so it doesn't really.
Yeah.
It's probably not that big of an issue, but still, $76 million is a ridiculous amount to pay out to get your coach out.
Yeah, Jimbo's got to be loving it. He's living the life now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's probably on the golf course hitting on cart girls too, like Scott Frost was the day he got fired.
And Scott Frost only got a $15 million buyout.
Yeah.
Scott Frost is poor compared to Zimbabwe.
Jimbo could buy the fucking country club.
Yeah, he could.
I know. That's insane. And now they think they can get any coach in the country. Come on. I don't think they can get anybody they want.
We saw. We were talking about it. How someone was like, let's offer. What's stopping us? What's stopping us from offering Kirby Smart $20 million
a year?
Yeah, it's like what?
These guys are insane.
Texas A&M is a cult. It's weird.
Oh yeah, there's some weird stuff going on there for sure.
Yeah,
but no. But hey, talking about it yesterday, Patty Fitz.
There's no way Texas A&M would hire Patty Fitz. That would never happen. That would never happen.
They should.
Yeah.
Or they're just gonna get Mel Tucker. There's a cult going on. Tucker likes to do weird things. He can go there.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be a great fit.
Yep. What do we got next, Max?
All right. Well, the Brian Ferentz points tracker, real quick, 22
Yep.
points. They're at 18.8. So I don't think Brian's going to hit the 25. Not that it matters anymore, but it's still
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah. There's no way. I don't think unless they put 100 points on Illinois or something.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into college football playoff rankings. Let's just start with ours, and then we can sort of look at the committees as well. And we got Headley and Brad put theirs in. So we're going to be missing Connor and Devin's playoff rankings for tonight, but that's all right. I'm going to start it off. My 6th ranked team is Oregon. I think they're the top 1-loss team in the country. I said that last week. I'm going to say it again.
Yeah, I agree, Max. Last week I had Oregon. They are by far the best 1-loss team right now in the country. Bodacious is he's a dog. That offense is humming. Yeah, they are definitely the 6th team right now.
Headley has Alabama, interestingly enough. And then Brad has Oregon/Alabama. Couldn't decide. Fair enough. I would question Brad, and I know you can't defend yourself because you're not on, so I'm sorry. But I would question the Alabama over at Texas when Texas did beat Alabama.
That's
So
a good point.
I feel like it should be Oregon/Texas. But I would have loved to have heard your reasoning. So I'm sure there was a reasoning behind it. So I wish we'd hear that. Anyway, moving on. Number 5, I have. Who do I have? I have Florida State. I had them 4 last week. I have them 5 now.
I still have Washington at 5. I just don't think they've been performing as a top 4 team in the country.
That's fair. Headley has Texas over Alabama. Another interesting choice there. And then Brad has Washington. So same as you, Isaiah. Number 4, I'm going Washington now. My number 4 spot. They just had a good win over Utah. Wins are tough to find in college football, so a 7-point win over a ranked team, that's good by me. And they now have 2 wins that I think are above, honestly, most of Florida State's wins, if not all of them. They're riding that LSU win now. So I got Washington ahead of FSU. The resume is more impressive for me at this point.
Yeah, I don't mind that, Max. I still have Florida State as a top 4 team. I think they've been performing all year and showing out. My rankings, Florida State, Washington could definitely get flipped after this week after Washington plays Oregon State and see how they do against a top 15 team in the country. Yeah, I still got Florida State there in the 4 spot.
And then Headley also has Florida State. Brad also Florida State. Number 3, I have Ohio State. They moved back a couple positions. I had them ranked 1 last week. It's not anything they did. It's just the 2 teams ahead of them now are just have better wins now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have Ohio State in this 3 spot. We said last week it was going to come down to how Georgia and Michigan play. And I think both of those teams performed a lot better. Especially Michigan, they were dominant, didn't have to really throw the ball at all against Penn State. So I'm putting Ohio State in the 3 spot. I had them at, I believe, number 2. Or no, I had them at number 1 last week as well.
Yep. And then Headley agrees Ohio State at 3, agrees with you and I. And then Brad has Michigan at number 3. Number 2, we can just go with our number 2 and number 1 now. Might as well. So number 2, I'm going with Michigan. They move up because of that win over Penn State. They were just missing an impressive win on the resume, and they got it now. And then number 1, I have to go Georgia now. I think they have the most impressive resume because they have the ranked wins now over Ole Miss and Mizzou, and they look pretty dominant as well.
Yep, I have the same exact 2 teams. I had Michigan at number 2 last week. They're staying there. I think they are still performing great, but the win for Georgia over Ole Miss was just too dominant over a top 10 team to not have them in the number 1 spot. They looked very good. I gave shit in Carson Beck early in the season. I can't keep doing it. The guy can slang. And then Rock Bowers is back. Lad McConkey. He's got some good options there with those two fellows.
Yep. Headley has Georgia at number 2, Michigan number 1, and then Brad has Ohio State number 2, Georgia number 1. So we have some differences there, which is good to see. We always like that. Which, I mean, I really don't have a problem with Michigan or Georgia. Ohio State could be 1, 2, or 3. You know, kind of is what it is.
I think 1, 2, and 3 are interchangeable. 4 and 5, and then I think Oregon is, probably going to sit at 6 until they replay Washington in hopefully the Pac-12 championship.
The biggest thing that I noticed on here, and I don't know, Headley, did you forget about Washington and Oregon? There's no Washington and Oregon, especially Washington. They're undefeated. They got to be ahead of Texas and Alabama. I don't know. If
I would love to hear his reasoning, but we're not going to be able to hear it because he's not coming to Wisconsin.
Yeah. He might have just forgot.
Yeah, that could be something that little man does.
Oh, Headley, you're going to be taking shots from Isaiah all podcasts.
All pod.
All right. Well, those are our rankings. The committee has it Georgia 1, Ohio State 2. So same as Brad has it, actually the exact same.
Besides the Oregon Alabama thing. But.
Yep. Michigan 3, FSU, Washington. I'm starting to feel pretty strongly about the Washington being ahead of Florida State at this point, but it's just my opinion. And then Oregon 6, Texas, and then Alabama. So, and then some big movers. Iowa is up to 16. They're not ranked in the AP poll, and they're 16th in the CFP poll. I don't think I've ever seen a difference as big as that from the two, major polls.
That is actually insane.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Mizzou went up 5 spots, or number 9.
Louisville, number 10.
Louisville cracks the top 10 in Jeff Brom's first year.
Yeah, he's got them boys.
Louisville as a team might be like the bank of the season because that's just such an impressive turnaround, what Jeff Brom has done there. I mean, yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. Probably going to take them to the ACC championship to play Florida State.
Which will be awesome because I don't think they play in the regular season. So that'll actually be super fun.
Yeah, that could shake things up in the CFP poll too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Tennessee drops 5. Let's see what else. Big movers. Utah down 4. Oklahoma State down 8. Kansas down 9. So, yeah, that's the CFP poll.
Tulane still hanging in there.
Yep, top ranked and only ranked group of 5 team at this point.
9-1. Wow.
All right. Is it time for Tank and Bank?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have 2 tanks this week, but I'll start with one because we're short on guys. So I'm going to throw an extra tank in there so we get the quota in for calling people out.
Yeah.
My first tank, because I don't want to take it if you have the other one. My first tank is Adidas and their apparel and their football uniforms. I said it during the game. They were like, I get they're doing the Veterans Day green hoodies, which is great. Do the military style hoodie, but they were so ugly. They were so unbelievably ugly. Like Headley said during the game, let's decide to give our entire coaching staff pre-pit stained pits because they were black. And then the font was super weird. And everything Adidas makes is hideous. They make ugly apparel. And then I remember we're watching the Kirk Ferentz interview post-game, and he's wearing a Nike Iowa football sweatshirt, and it looks so clean. It just said Iowa football on it in just like a normal hoodie that I would love to be able to wear. But instead, Adidas has ugly clothing. It's actually pisses me off. Okay, so there's my rant. Sorry. That's actually, instead of a tank, that turned into more of a rant. But anyway, I just feel so strongly about it. That's actually, not only is that tank of the week, it's tank of the year, it's tank of the century, is Adidas football uniforms and apparel.
Man, I really hope Adidas is not listening to this podcast. We're definitely not getting a sponsorship.
I don't.
Um,
I don't want one from Adidas. They suck.
hey, I like their shoes. Um,
I do too. Actually, they do that good.
my tank is gonna be Oklahoma State. You just got your fanny waxed, dude. Absolutely waxed. It's big for UCF, especially their first year in the conference.
Yeah, that's a good tank. My other tank is the Washington defender dropping the ball before crossing the end zone. That
I
is a
saw,
massive tank. That
I
is
saw that.
getting off of the funny rant, side of things. That's a legit contender for tank of the year because not only did
Yeah,
he drop it before he was 2 yards short. It wasn't
yeah.
even close.
No, was not close at all. And then they were celebrating, and then you just saw his face go like blank, and he was like, "Oh shit, I might have dropped it too early." The video was hilarious that I watched. Um, I agree with that. I like that tank. I also had another one. My tank is gonna be Marcus Scatterfield. Uh,
Good tank.
3rd and goal. Why are we passing the ball? We already had 3 interceptions in the game. We didn't. He's just. I know you got to try to instill some that you trust your players. It's your third string quarterback, like Max said earlier. True freshman wide receiver. You can't do stuff like that. You just can't run the ball.
No. All right, bank time. My bank is a situation that normally would be a tank, but it's not a tank when you're getting $76 million deposited in your bank account. Jimbo Fisher's my bank of the week. Congratulations to Jimbo Fisher. He's going to get paid like $8 million a year for the next 7 years to just sit on his couch and go golfing every now and then.
I like that bank. That's pretty funny too. Um,
It's a
my
literal bank.
bank, my bank is that I've kind of turned things around with my locks. I have now hit 3 straight.
Look at this guy. He's his own
I,
bank.
I'm on I'm on a heater a little bit here. Actually, I have 2 banks.
Oh, here we go.
Max finally hit an underdog this season. Not only did he hit his underdog, he hit the biggest underdog of the year so far, 11 points.
Let's go, man.
He
Let's
is now
in
on
the
the board.
race.
You are in the race.
Yeah, that was
You
big.
that is a big one.
I couldn't believe Northwestern was 11-point dogs. That was crazy.
Yeah, that is actually insane.
It's funny because we could also just shout out Wisconsin for being a tank because now the 2 biggest underdog hits have been against Wisconsin because it was
Yeah.
Northwestern plus 11 and then it was Iowa plus 10.5 for Devin over Wisconsin. So thanks, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Tank of the season right there.
Yeah. All right. With that, Week 12 preview. The biggest matchup, primetime game in Corvallis, Oregon. The tickets are ridiculously expensive for this game because it's obviously the last year, unfortunately, that Oregon State has playing these massive games like this. Number 5, Washington. Number 11, Oregon State. Primetime, 6:30. It's where College game day should be, but it's not. Super pumped for this game. The line has shifted. It was Washington -1. It's now Oregon State -2.5. Go Beeve.
Yep.
That's all I got.
I agree. Go Beef here. Massive game. Like I said when we were doing the CFP, our rankings could change where I put Washington. If they lose this game, I'm probably going to put Oregon ahead of them. If they win the game, I'll probably put them ahead of Florida State. It's a massive game for that entire program.
Yeah.
It's going to really show that they have some resilience when they've been down the past couple of weeks and they can fight back and win a huge game.
Yeah, it's true. I think everything will work itself out in the end eventually. It usually does. But the importance of this game, because if Washington wins this, I 100% believe the committee will move them into that top 4, which is obviously where you need to be come postseason time in that top 4. So it would be huge. That'd be a huge result because that'd be a great win.
Yeah, it would be a massive win.
K-State at Kansas, another top 25 matchup here. K-State favored by a touchdown and a half. Little rivalry action before rivalry week because Kansas State always plays Iowa State on rivalry week, known as Farmageddon. But yeah, it should be a good one.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of surprised the spread's that high. But K-State's been kind of on a heater. And Kansas has been kind of battling with some tough losses recently. But I think it's gonna be a great game.
And then Utah, Arizona, another top 25 Pac-12 matchup. Awesome game. The Pac-12 has given us like great games every week. It's literally such a shame this conference is going away because
We have
this is
two
another.
Pac-12 games in the preview.
Yeah, it's another awesome game. The line is even. Utah, Arizona. Should be a really good game. I don't know.
Man.
And then Georgia, Tennessee. Could be interesting. I'm actually surprised the line is only 10. I thought it'd be like 16 for Georgia.
Yeah, I agree. I think last week it was only 10 for him as well against, or was
It was like 11, I think, maybe 11, 12.
10 and a half.
10 and a half. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, you saw what they did against Ole Miss, and I think Ole Miss would beat Tennessee. So very surprising the line is this low, which is insane because it's, two top 20 teams in the country playing each other, and they're a 10-point favorite. Even though they are number one, still, they are a different beast. 10 points is not enough for them.
And I did want to point out that speaking of Georgia, Tennessee, a couple of SEC teams, I like that they're actually playing tough opponents this week because this is the SEC November Cupcake Week. That is ridiculous. I don't know why it's still a thing. LSU, Arkansas, Auburn, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Alabama all play either an FCS or Group of Five team this week. That's just so ridiculous. It's so stupid, and it's such it's a big advantage, really, But whatever.
Yeah, 8 conference games is ridiculous. Hopefully next year when they have more teams in the conference, they bump it up to 9.
Yeah.
But ridiculous. You have probably the best conference in college football, and you're playing cupcake games in November.
Yeah, and this you could use this as an argument as to why they aren't the best conference in college football because they only play 8 conference games and they play cupcake games. So yeah, kind of sucks.
Yeah, Ole Miss playing University of Louisiana Monroe. Come on.
Spread pick of the week. Shout out cupcake game.
Cupcake.
Shouldn't even be a thing, but it is.
Big Ten would never.
No. Big Ten is built on integrity.
Yeah.
Big Ten West Division action. Purdue at Northwestern. Wildcats favored by 1.5. And then, of course, the other massive game for the Big Ten West standings. Illinois at a 16th ranked Iowa. Iowa's favored by roughly 3 points right now, depending on where you look. So almost a coin flip game. And
I think both of those games are kind of a coin flip. Either team could win. But go Burt.
Go Burt, man. If Iowa wins, they clinch the division. They will be going to Indy to play. Right now, looks like obviously either Michigan or Ohio State. But if they lose, and if Nebraska wins, then it comes down to the Corn Bowl, which is what we want. Of course, as we get into our Nebraska at Wisconsin preview, 6:30 night game on NBC primetime. Wisconsin's favored by 4.5. That line has kind of moved all over the place, but it's most recently been going down. Braylon Allen is a game time decision. He's day-to-day right now. Tanner Mordecai will likely play, but he has the broken hand still and hasn't quite looked the same. Wisconsin's pretty handicapped on offense right now. They're not playing good offense. They scored 14 against Indiana, and then they scored 10, but really 3 points against Northwestern. So there's some trouble on offense there.
Yeah, for sure. It's tough when guys you rely on aren't able to play. We kind of saw that this past week with Harburg. He went out and we had to put in our backups, and they didn't perform. We kind of, got a glimpse of what it's like there. Yeah, I mean, this is a huge game for Nebraska to keep our hopes for Big Ten West alive. I know it does come down to Iowa, Illinois. But But this is huge if they can pull this off, and Illinois pulls it off as well.
Yeah, and earlier when I said Wisconsin lost 2 straight, they have lost 3 straight because before that they lost to Ohio State, so they are on a 3-game losing streak. And in their last 5, they only have 1 win, and it was the 25-21 win over Illinois that they barely won. They scored a touchdown with, like 20 seconds to go?
Yeah, it was a garbage time. Well, I guess not garbage time, but
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Critical time.
Critical.
Yeah. And then the week before that, they, of course, lost to Iowa 15-6. So they're not looking good. I mean, 6 points against Iowa, 25 points against Illinois, which right before that they had 18 points. And Illinois has maybe the worst defense in the Big Ten. And then 10 against Ohio State, 14 against Indiana, 10 against Northwestern. Again, that offense is really struggling right now. Not really much of an identity. There's actually been former Wisconsin players this week coming out and saying, look what we did to Paul Chryst. Shouldn't have done that. So that's kind of they're a bit of a dire situation right now. Some feathers getting rustled in Madison. They're not happy.
No, they aren't happy. Hopefully their fans aren't egregious while we are there, but who knows? Anything can happen. We just know I don't think we'll experience fans as bad as Colorado, but they could be a little upset and a little antsy.
I think they'll be
in their deer blinds all day.
Yeah, it's opening day deer hunting up there. It's a big deal. I think we'll run into some that are really nice, and I think there's gonna be some dicks. But
yeah,
it's kind of how it goes. House of Pain Jump Around is gonna be on repeat this week. Pumped to go there. Really, I'm glad it's a night game. We got all day to experience Madison, and man, let's just get this win. I hate Wisconsin almost as much as Iowa.
Yeah, I'd say Wisconsin's right after Iowa for who I hate right now.
Oh yeah.
The only time Nebraska has beat Wisconsin was 2012, the year we met them in the Big Ten championship. I was at the game. It was a night game.
Ooh.
But it was at Memorial though.
That's all right. It's all right.
11 years later, here we are.
Yeah. Time to turn things around. We haven't beaten Wisconsin in Madison since the 1960s. So now we weren't in the same conference for a long time, so we weren't playing them every year. But still, the stat is what the stat is.
In the Big Ten era of Nebraska, we have not beat Wisconsin in Camp Randall.
No, it's time to change that, man. I feel like my gut reaction to this is that the computer models have been loving Wisconsin all year, hence why they were 10.5-point favorites over Iowa, 11-point favorites over Northwestern. They were only 14-point dogs to Ohio State, which actually did hold true, so good for the badge there. How much were they favored by against Indiana? Let me see. Because they
probably
lost
11.5.
7.5. Okay, interesting. They almost got reverse covered.
Yeah.
I think this game could easily be a pick'em. I know Nebraska has the struggles right now in offense and the turnover struggles. Honestly, they don't even. It's almost like the offense does struggle, but not as much as like we think, because the turnovers just handicap that. Like, it's a turnover problem. I don't think it's a huge offense issue, because I think the running game has, for the most part, been there. Emmett Johnson looks good. And the offense is still ahead of some other Power 5 teams, and statistically not even close to what Iowa's been. It's just the turnovers. And I'm beating a dead horse by saying that. But
yeah. I mean, we have the number one rush offense in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I don't know why we aren't just trusting it and going with it.
In our rush defense, Braylon Allen's not 100%. Ches Malusi is out. We have the number 3 ranked rush defense in the country. It's time to stop that, force a broken hand Tanner Mordecai without his leading wide receiver to make plays. And that's that. I mean, the defense, go out there and win this game, and the offense, just give it to Emmett Johnson, and let's win the game 7-3.
I'll take any score. as
Yeah.
long as Nebraska's leading.
That should be the
Does
game
not
plan all the
matter.
way.
Yep.
Or you know what? Not even 7. Alvano kicks it 7 times. That's how we get 21. And then Wisconsin scores. We'll give them 2.
They're gonna get a safety on us. That's it.
All right. Is that good for a Nebraska-Wisconsin preview? Super
Yeah.
pumped
Yep.
for the game.
Yep. So, game of the week. I think Max and I have the same one, probably. Washington, Oregon State.
Washington, Oregon State, indeed. That is my game of the week. That's an
I would.
awesome matchup. That atmosphere in Corvallis is going to be unbelievable.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
We get to watch that game too, don't we?
No, because it's a night game.
Oh, is it night game?
Saturday
We'll
night.
be checking the stats.
Yeah, we'll be checking the score. We'll be tuning in every now and then. But yeah, that's also Saturday night.
An honorary game of the week. Nebraska, Wisconsin. We're gonna be in Camp Randall on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, 50-yard line, 40th row. Headley, I know you're jealous because those are amazing seats.
Yeah.
And we're going to be living it up all day in Madison. I've been to Madison once before. Top 5 college town in the U.S. by far. Like, it's awesome. It's going to be fun.
Be drinking that spotted cow.
Spotted cow. I'm gonna have a Wisconsin bomb.
That
Just read
sounds
up on
nasty.
that today.
Nasty.
PBR with a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah, you can have that, and I'll just sip on some spotted cow.
I'm gonna try a Wisconsin bomb. We also should get some ICB action while we're there.
Speaking of ICBs, I was at the bar on Saturday, and the guys next to me got 2 of them.
Whoa.
I was like, all right, chill out. At the Dubliner.
All right, it's time for locks, dogs, and picks. Brad is not here, so I will give us a record update.
Yeah.
I'm going to go everything from the leader to the worst, make it easier for everyone to follow along. Last week, Connor led the way, 9-3. Good job, Con Man. Next, we had a 3-way tie, 8-4. Max, Isaiah, and Headley. I'm going to refer to myself as third person. And then right after that, 7-5 for Bradley and Devin. So everyone actually had a pretty good week. Everyone was within a couple games of each other, so that's nice. And then our guest picker, which was not a guest at all, it was just not Headley, went 4-8. Locks, we only had 3 people hit their locks. That would be myself, Isaiah, and Headley, which isn't bad. Only one underdog hit. You know it's your boy, Northwestern plus 11. That's 11 points on the board, and that's big because I'm right back in the thick of things.
You are now ahead of Bradley, who has had 2 dogs hit.
Let's go. And I'm only half point back of Connor.
Yep.
Wins leading the way right now. Isaiah, 106 correct picks on the year.
10 game lead there.
Yeah, it's actually big. You're fucking hammering that shit.
Yeah.
We have a 2-way tie for second. Headley and Connor, 10 games back at 96 wins. And then I am third, or I guess you'd call it fourth in this case because of the tie. 94, so I'm 2 games back. And then another 2 games back is Devin at 92. And then Brad is 5 games back from Devin at 87. So
hey, we're all in the green. We got no
as
red.
it should be for straight up picks, as it should be.
Yeah.
So that's good. Locks. I caught Devin this week because he did not hit his lock, and I did. So Devin and I are tied at the lead, 8-3. Good stuff, Devin. I like where we're at right now. Only 1 game back, and in second place is Headley at 7-4, doing superb. Nice job, Headley. Then we have Bradley at 5-6, sneaking up on that 500 record. And then Connor and Isaiah bringing in the rear on the locks, 4-7. Still not the worst.
Not the worst. Not the worst. Tied for
I mean,
the worst.
it is the worst out of us, but it's not like it could be worse.
I think I did. I'll have to look back at last year. I think I only had 4.
And then underdogs, we're going points here. So Headley leads the way with 20 points. Very nice job, Headley. You're nailing the dogs this year. Then Isaiah at 16.5. Next is Devin at 16. Very close. Then we have Connor at 11.5. And then I am on the board now at 11. Only a half point back there from Connor. And then Brad is at 6 points on the year. So that's our record update for everyone. And time for locks, dogs, and in picks. It's only two of us. Connor and Devin have not gotten their picks in, so unfortunately we can't say theirs right now. Our guest picker this week, Isaiah and I are going to be deciding who would win in a battle between the mascots of the matchup. That's the guest picker. Can't wait to see how this goes. So Isaiah,
I absolutely love this.
yeah,
Absolutely love it.
this is going to be awesome. We haven't even filled it in. We're doing it live time. We're going to debate it every time. Game 1, Friday night. This is a 9:30.
We gotta do our locks and dogs.
Oh God, I was so excited to get into the mascots.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, the mascots. Okay. My lock for this week, I'm going ACC action. NC State, Virginia Tech under 45.5. I think Virginia Tech's offense sucks, and NC State has a really, really good defense.
Yeah, I like that. We talked about it earlier. The spread should be bigger. I'm going Georgia -10 over Tennessee. I think they are going to easily cover that.
And then Headley's going with the tried and true Iowa under. It's 30.5 playing Illinois this weekend. Which is funny because that would have tied the old record, but is just a non-news story anymore because last week's was 27.5. So, and that's all the locks we have in. Obviously, Connor, Brad, and Devin will get theirs in at a later date. Underdog, I'm going North Carolina +7 against Clemson. I think Clemson is a good team. I think Clemson's going to win, but I think UNC's got a chance. I think they have a better than a +7 chance. So I'm gonna take 7 points.
I got UCLA +6.5 against the Trojans. Trojans are kind of down. They had a good game last week. UCLA is also down, but I think they're going to turn things around and they're going to lock down Caleb Williams and they're going to win this game. Give me those 6.5 points.
Very nice. And then Headley's got Michigan State +3.5 against Indiana. I really like that pick because Headley's got the lead right now, and I think Michigan State could easily win that. Get himself 3.5 more points. Good strategy. All right, now into the picks where I wanted to go. Friday night, Colorado at Washington State. This is a 9:30 Central kick. So the boys are going to be able to have this game on during the car ride, late night kick, because we're going to be on a late night drive. So it actually works out perfect. And it's an interesting game because I get to root my ass off against Colorado. I love it. Super excited for it. So I'm picking Wazoo.
Yeah, I'm also going Wazoo here. Like Max said, we hate Colorado. We rooting our asses off against them. And it's on a car ride to Madison. Colorado loses. Nebraska wins. Let's go. Come
Be a
on.
good weekend.
Turn me up.
The certified Colorado hater, the certified hater, as he likes to call it, Headley, is hating. He is taking Wazoo. I love it. Brad is also taking Wazoo. And then who are we taking for the mascot matchup? We got the Cougars and the Buffaloes. We're starting off with a tough one. This is a tough one right out of the gate.
This is tough because, we hate Colorado. But the fucking Buffalo, man.
I mean, I'm doing this. I'm going to go, obviously, unbiased on this.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, because every time I think about it, like, a Buffalo's way bigger and stronger. But, like, the Cougar can move and it can bite. It's got teeth, It can claw.
Bite and slash. But if the Buffalo gets a hold of the Cougar, it's game over.
You think Buffalo? Because the Cougar's not like a freaking tiger.
Yeah, it's kind of small.
It's smaller.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go Buffalo just because it's so, I think they're so big and overpowering.
Yeah, I think we have to put all bias aside. We gotta go Buff.
That is actually a tough one to start off with, though.
Yeah,
A Cougar Buff.
that is very tough. Next one's obviously easy.
All right. Well, we got Louisville and Miami. 1.5 point spread here, which is interesting. Vegas knows something. It's always scary, but I got Louisville.
Yeah, I think that spread is because they lost to Penn, which is tough.
But what?
Pitt. They lost to Pitt, Louisville.
You like to make up things.
Yeah, I'm not very good with actual things. Obviously, Louisville fans, since I came out of the womb, I'm going Cardinals here.
And then Headley's got Miami, and
Fuck
Brad is
you.
taking Louisville.
Hey, Headley, suck my balls.
Okay, and there it is. Mascot matchup. It's got to be a hurricane. A hurricane would kill a cardinal.
Nah, dude.
You think a
Cardinal get through
cardinal
that.
sitting in a tree during 120-mile-an-hour winds in monsoon?
Nah, dude. The Cardinals leaving before the hurricane even gets there.
No, that's not how this works, man. They're face to face. That's the Cougar and Buffalo. Because then we just go with the Cougar because it could run away.
All right.
It's hurricane.
Hurricane. Damn it.
Sorry, man.
That's
That's how it
tough.
has to be. SMU at Memphis. 2 8-2 teams in the American Athletic Conference Group of 5 game of the week. I'm going to go SMU because I'm going with Vegas. I thought the spread would be closer, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm going SMU here.
Headley is also taking SMU. Brad is also taking SMU. Mascot. This one's easy, man. Tigers versus Mustangs.
Yeah, we gotta go Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers. Memphis is winning that one.
I mean, if the Mustang gives him a kick to the chest, or gives Tigers dead.
Yeah, but the Tigers.
The likelihood of that happening is not very likely.
Tigers ripping into that thing. Next, North Carolina at Clemson. I think this could be a really good matchup. It's preseason, I would have thought this would have been like a top 15 game. Not so much anymore. I'm going to go with Clemson, though, because A, they're the home team. B, Vegas has a favorite. And then C, most importantly, I am hedging my dog.
I don't like the hedge, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I'm going Clemson here. Vegas knows something, and I don't really know much about the ACC this year.
Headley, Brad also going with Clemson. And this one we have a Tiger versus Tar Heel.
What the hell is a Tar Heel?
Tigers winning again. I mean, their mascot's like a bighorn sheep.
A bighorn sheep?
Yeah, something like that.
What's that gonna do against a tiger?
Or a ram. Maybe it's like a ram. I don't even know. A Tar Heel. I don't even know, honestly. Tiger. Tigers.
Yeah, sorry, Devin, but the Tigers are eating that thing.
All right, next, UCLA at USC. Another little taster rivalry week before the actual rivalry week next week. I'm gonna go USC in this one. That's a really tough loss for UCLA last week against Arizona State. Don't like the look of it at all, so I'm going with the Troj.
Yeah, like I said earlier, both these teams are kind of down, but I think UCLA.
Isaiah, we can hear you freaking washing your hands. Like,
I had to wash my hands, man.
yeah, okay.
No, I don't hedge. I don't do that anymore. Give me the Bruins.
All right, good. Doubling down on the underdog. I do like that. I respect that a lot. Headley, Bradley also going with USC as I did. Now we have Trojans versus a Bruin.
Dude, this is like a boxing match here.
I mean, the Trojans got all the armor and the sword.
Yeah, but Bruin's a brute, dude.
Yeah, Bruin's a big ass thing. I mean, I feel like we can't overthink it, and we just got to go with the Bruin, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking Bruin here.
Okay.
I'm thinking
big old Bruin.
Bruin for sure.
Could have been a sneaky good matchup, but yeah, Bruin. Bruin takes the cake.
Yep.
All right, game 6, spread pick. Louisiana Monroe, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is favored by 36.5. We love our November cupcake games for the SEC. I think Ole Miss takes full advantage, and they cover that spread.
Yeah, Ole Miss definitely needs to take advantage of this. I got them covering.
And then Headley has no cover, and Bradley has yes on the Ole Miss cover. Louisiana Monroe is they're the Warhawks
Versus the Rebels?
Versus the Rebels.
I'm taking Rebs, dude.
Yeah, I would take Rebs.
I like the Rebs. Like I said, it's Ole Miss year. Their year to beat down the mascot.
Yeah, we'll take the Rebels. That just sounds meaner. I'm assuming a Rebel has a gun, too, so it can just shoot the Hawk.
A gun, sword, something.
Yeah. Something
Hawk
like
comes
that.
down, just slash it. Bird down.
Right. Rebels beat the Warhawks. Although I honestly, I really like the mascot Warhawk. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it does sound very fierce.
All right, Purdue at Northwestern, Big Ten West action. 1.5-point favorites are the Wildcats, and I'm going to go with Northwestern. It really impressed me this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. Start of the season, did not think Northwestern had a chance at a bowl game, and here they are. I'm taking the Wildcats.
Headley and Brad are also taking Northwestern, so on a 1.5-point spread, we're all picking the same team there. We have the Boilermakers versus the Wildcats.
Dude, that train is just running over the Wildcat.
Whoa. Is it the train?
Okay.
Is it the train or is it the goofy-looking guy?
That's true. I think it's got to be the goofy-looking guy because that's their actual mascot.
Yeah, because that is a Boilermaker, you know.
Yeah, he do be making the thing boil.
Yeah, let's go Wildcats.
Yeah, yep, I agree. I was thinking, train is just see ya, but
honestly,
it's got to be the maker of the boil.
You can take that one either route, but if we go with the goofy-looking guy, the Wildcat is ripping that dude to shreds. Next, Illinois at number 16, Iowa. Iowa favored by 3.5. I'm going to go with Illinois. This is just a homer pick. I think the game's a toss-up anyway, in my opinion. So I'm going to go to the homer side of it. Go Illini. Go Burt. We need this win for Illinois.
I'm going to go 3 straight weeks of picking the opponent of Iowa. Give me Burt and Illinois, baby.
Headley is going Iowa.
Closeted Iowa fan. Not surprised.
And then Brad is going Illinois. I think Brad is probably on the same page as you and I, Isaiah, where it's we need that one. So
yep.
Might as well take it. Mascot, Fighting Illini and a Hawkeye. This is
Fighting
lame.
Illini.
This
Fighting
is lame.
Illini.
Yeah, it's just someone from Illinois who fights.
Yeah, all you gotta do is take down a hawk. Easy. Shoot that.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You just shoot it.
I don't even know. Well, does an Illini who fights does that person have a gun?
I feel like a lot of people that live in Illinois have guns.
Okay. Fighting Illini beats a Hawkeye.
That's my justification there.
We are giving the Fighting Illini guns in this scenario. The Fighting Illini gets a gun and shoots the Hawkeye.
Yep.
Kansas State and Kansas, top 25 matchup. K-State favored by about a touchdown. And I am going to go with K-State because I think Kansas might still be on that third-string quarterback, unfortunately, which is tough for the Jayhawks, but it's reality.
Yeah, I'm picking K-State as well. Shout out Lindenmeyer. I think K-State's just kind of on a heater right now.
Headley is taking Kansas, and Brad is taking K-State.
Headley needs Kansas, I'm pretty sure, for his bet.
Oh, yeah, for the bet, yeah.
I think he needs one more.
That's such tough timing with the quarterback situation, too.
Yeah, bad beat.
Yeah, could be. All right, Jayhawk and another Wildcat.
Wildcat.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. All right, Georgia at Tennessee. Ranked matchup here. It's at Tennessee. Big rivalry. Should be a good atmosphere in Neyland Stadium. Only a 10-point spread, which surprised me, but I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia won this game again like they did last week, 50-17. So give me Georgia.
Yeah, I agree. My lock of the week is for them to cover 10, and they're going to do it. I got the Bulldogs.
And then Headley and Brad, not surprisingly, also taking Georgia. And then we have Bulldogs and Volunteers.
Sounds like Michael Vick.
Wait a minute. You're saying Michael Vick is a volunteer?
No, because he had the dog fighting ring.
Yeah, no, I know. Are we giving the Volunteers guns? A volunteer doesn't have a gun. A volunteer.
No, he's a volunteer.
Yeah, they don't get guns.
Yeah,
Bulldog wins that.
I think Bulldog takes the cake. They're kind of aggressive.
Yeah, let's go Bulldog.
The Georgia Bulldog mascot too. He's pissed off. He's always in the little doghouse.
I don't know. If we're thinking about it, literally, a volunteer is just a person, and I feel like I could just go up to a bulldog and just hit the thing as hard as I can.
All right, moving on to the next one.
But no, if you're doing a person versus a dog, you just go up to the dog and you fucking waste it.
We gotta move on. We're gonna get canceled.
That's a hypothetical. We did the same thing for fighting a Illini. You're gonna treat a Hawkeye differently than you're gonna treat a dog.
Yes.
You said the Illini would just shoot a Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's a bird.
Is the volunteer
People
gonna
hunt
shoot
birds.
the dog?
You don't hunt dogs. That's not allowed.
That's not how we're thinking about this.
No, that's the logical thinking that people can hunt birds, but you can't hunt dogs.
I thought we were just going free for all in this.
No, I think I crossed the line with dogs.
No, that's crazy, man. What if
what were we gonna say?
No, nothing.
No, you had something.
I was gonna say, what if you had like a rebel versus a fighting Illini? They just be fucking humans going to war.
Well, a rebel is like a rebel.
A human. Yeah, it's a human.
Yeah, but like you think of a rebel, he's got some like.
This is a rebellious
gear.
human being.
He's got like some gear.
I don't know what your point is. What is your point?
Wait, are you talking? Can we go to the next pick? I'm flabbergasted that you were saying you just go up and kick a dog.
It's a scenario. That's how a human being. Isaiah, what if you had a rogue dog that was attacking you?
What if I would punch it?
Exactly.
I think kicking is excessive.
Oh my god.
Okay, what if it's a volunteer at a animal shelter?
I mean, then they would just put it down like in a medical way. So you're actually just proving your point even worse. Dogs have to be put down sometimes, Isaiah. The volunteer at the medical shelter, unfortunately, has to put down the bulldog.
Volunteer mascot.
All right, volunteer. Volunteer takes it.
You've convinced me.
The medical shelter volunteer is putting down the bulldog. Sorry. All right. Utah, Arizona. That was an all-time segment right there. Okay. Utah, Arizona. I'm going. I can't even decide on this one. I have Arizona right now, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Utah.
I'm sticking with Arizona and Fafita. Give me the Cats.
All right, and then Headley has Arizona as well, and then Brad has Utah. I figured that one, just like the spread shows, would be pretty split. Now we have a Ute versus a Wildcat. Isaiah, a Ute is an Indian. They have bow and arrows.
Bow and arrow. Yep. Give me the Ute.
Oh, really? I was still going to say Wildcat.
Bro, you just.
So we're working with a really skilled Indian.
Yeah, that thing can be run out of you.
All right, if you say so.
I got the Ute, man.
We might have just made two wrong picks in a row.
That's
regarding the Ute and the volunteer, but all right.
Volunteer is something.
A human being could. Anyway, it's just not even close when you actually think about it. It is actually not even close. A volunteer is beating a dog. All right, Washington, Oregon State, game of the week, night game in Madison. Not in Madison. We'll be in Madison, keeping track of this game. This game is going to be in Corvallis, Oregon. It's going to be a great atmosphere. And I'm going to take Oregon State, go Beavs.
I need to regain composure here for the pod, for the sake of the pod. I'm also going Beav here.
Okay, good. Headley's going Beav, and Brad is going Washington. That's going to be an awesome game. Could be a coin flip. Now we have Beavers versus Huskies.
Dude,
it's a good matchup.
It's an all-time matchup right there, if you ask me.
That is a good matchup.
I don't even know who. I don't know. This is a big discussion here. Huskies, they are fierce.
Yeah.
They are fierce. You ever seen a beaver? You don't fuck with their house.
No, and they got claws, and
They got claws. They got them big old chompers.
They got
And they got the
teeth.
tail. They just whack the dog with the tail real quick and just.
Oh man, what is actually winning between a husky and a beaver?
I'm kind of leaning towards beaver
I would lean beef.
because they turn around with that tail, smack him a little bit.
Although I don't know, man. The husky opens its mouth and just chomps on the beef. If
Okay,
it gets a hold of it.
we're talking. Okay, both scenarios. The fiercest husky alive, all right, against the biggest, baddest, fiercest beaver known to mankind. Okay, they collide. I think I'm taking the beaver.
Really?
I think I gotta go beef.
I'll defer to you on this one and go beef as well, because apparently you have a little bit more expertise in dogs, I guess. A beaver can beat a dog, but a volunteer can. Anyway, yeah, we can go beavers.
All right.
Now we go Nebraska, Wisconsin. We are going to be there. Half of the Power Sixes, along with Matty K.
Not Headley.
4.5 point spread, night game. I got to go Nebraska here. And the defense gets the job done big time. Nebraska wins 23-6. If Northwestern can score 24, then we can score 23. And that Wisconsin offense is struggling right now. And our defense is really good. So 23-6.
I like that, Max. I think our defense is going to pick it up. The offense is still going to be a little shaky, but I'm still taking Nebraska 13-10. We've been on the wrong side of that score twice this year. Let's be on the right side.
I like that.
We're going to be end of the third quarter. We're all going to be on the 50-yard line. It's going to be 13-7. We're going to be jumping around. And Headley is not. But we're going to be jumping around. Headley's going to be jealous. I'm going to send lots of videos of that part right there.
The Isaiah calling out Headley counters at like 50 now.
It's going to be a lot higher by the end of the weekend.
All right. Headley and Brad also taking Nebraska. Brad doesn't have his score in, but Headley does. He has 14-13. Nebraska wins. And then lastly, Cornhusker versus a Badger. I mean, if we're getting
Hey, I got this. All right.
Okay.
A Cornhusker is a farmer. All right. Farmers are the most strapped people you'll see alive. They always got a gun on them. They see a Badger out in their field, bang, gone. Badger's dead. I'll give it to the Badger though. They're very fierce. You don't fuck with honey badger. All right, you've all seen the video. You don't fuck with honey badger because honey badger don't care. But farmer don't care either. Just bang, dead.
I think it's hilarious that any time so far that we've had a human mascot, we've just decided that they get a gun and that's just game over.
Okay, no. Volunteer. Volunteer.
We literally said the volunteer.
You said he gets his foot and he's just going to kick him to death. That's what you said.
Which would literally be the case. Like, I'm talking in realities here, Isaiah.
Okay. The Ute got a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
That's not a gun.
We gave the Fighting Illini and the Rebels guns. And
Yeah,
we called it good. We said they get guns, it's over.
Yeah, we did do that.
Hey, the Cornhusker gets a gun too. Cornhusker's beating a Badger.
Put Lil Red in there. I think Lil Red can do that.
Why wouldn't I just put oh my god, I can't even. You want Lil Red?
Yeah, I like Lil Red.
All right.
Wish we still had Lil Red. Lil Red says 24-0.
Okay. Lil Red 24-0. Okay. Because Lil Red apparently has a gun. Lil Red has a shotgun. All right. Well, after a very interesting pick segment in which, again, we just gave any human mascot a gun, and then every other scenario we talked it through. that's going to be the episode for this week. So we'll see how the mascots do. We'll see how the picks do. Go Illinois. Go Nebraska. We need those 2 wins. And the boys are going to be in Madison just having an amazing time. The vibes are going to be as good as they get.
Yeah, can't say that anymore. The vibes in Madison are going to be the best we have experienced in our entire lifetime. And too bad little man Jacob Headley does not get to experience it because he'd rather sit on the couch and watch the football game with Nolan. It sucks, man. You can't be there with us. You should be. Your roommate's going. You should be there. Come on now. With that being said, I hope you and guys enjoyed Max and I doing the mascot matchup. Hilarious. I love the idea, Max. I love how we debated everything. Awesome. That being said, like Max said, go Illinois, go Brett Bielema, go get your Golden Corral after this game. You need to eat up after that big win, and go Skurs. The boys are going to be in Madison.
Let's go.
We'll be jumping around. Max is going to have us listen to the song 20 times on the way there. We're going to know every word.
Repeat.
On repeat the rest of this week.
Yeah.
With that being said, I hope you guys all have a safe weekend. To all you fans traveling up to Madison, us included, drive safe and go Big Red.